The first time my mother-in-law looked at my pregnant stomach, she didn't see her grandchild. She saw a threat. She placed one hand on the dining table, leaned toward me, and whispered something so quietly that for a second I thought I had misunderstood her. "That baby is going to ruin this family." I was 7 months pregnant. My husband was sitting beside me, and the worst part wasn't what she said. It was the fact that he didn't defend me. He just stared at his plate. I remember looking down at my stomach, feeling my daughter move beneath my dress, and wondering how a family could hate a child who hadn't even opened her eyes yet. What I didn't know was that my mother-in-law had already made plans for my husband's future. A future that didn't include me. A future that didn't include my baby. And she was so confident that she would win, that she never imagined the little girl she wanted gone would one day become the only person capable of saving everything they had built. My name is Naomi Carter, and by the time I learned the truth, I had already lost almost everything. I was 30 years old when I met Marcus. I was a Black American woman with a quiet personality, a steady job, and absolutely no interest in family drama. Marcus was 33, ambitious, handsome, and the kind of man who could make a room feel lighter just by walking into it. He worked in commercial real estate. I worked as an elementary school counselor. Our lives were completely different, but somehow we fit. Our first conversation happened in a coffee shop. He accidentally took my order. I had ordered a vanilla latte. He had ordered black coffee. He picked up my cup, took one sip, made the funniest face and said, "Who puts this much sugar in coffee?" I laughed. "You just drank my drink." He looked at the cup, then at me. Then he laughed so hard that the woman at the next table turned around. That was how it started. Not with fireworks. Not with some perfect movie moment. Just a stolen coffee and two strangers laughing. Within months, we were inseparable. Marcus remembered everything. He remembered my mother's birthday. He remembered that I hated driving in heavy rain. He remembered that I cried during emotional commercials and pretended I had allergies afterward. And when he proposed, he didn't take me somewhere extravagant. He took me back to that same coffee shop. He got down on one knee beside the table where we'd first met. I cried before he even opened the ring box. I thought I was becoming part of a family that would love me. I was wrong. The first warning came from his mother, Evelyn. Evelyn was 61, elegant, wealthy, and extremely protective of her son. She was the kind of woman who could smile at you while making you feel like you'd just failed an interview. When Marcus introduced me, she hugged me. But the hug lasted only a second. Then she stepped back and looked me over. "So you're Naomi?" I smiled. "Yes, ma'am." She nodded. "You work with children, right?" "I'm a school counselor." "That's nice." The way she said nice made it sound like the word was an insult. Then she turned to Marcus. "Did you tell her about the family?" I looked at him. "What family?" He laughed nervously. "Mom means our annual gatherings." But Evelyn wasn't talking about gatherings. She was talking about expectations. The Carter family had money, not billionaire money, but enough to own several properties, several businesses, and a large family home where everyone gathered for holidays. Evelyn had spent decades building a world where she controlled everything. Who got help? Who got invited? Who received opportunities? Who was considered worthy? And she had already decided what kind of woman Marcus should marry. Someone wealthy. Someone connected. Someone who could help expand the family business. I was none of those things. Still, Marcus married me. For the first year, Evelyn pretended to accept me. She smiled in photographs. She gave me expensive gifts. She called me sweetheart. But little comments began appearing. You really don't wear much makeup. Are you sure that's the dress you want? Marcus has always had expensive taste. Maybe once you have children, you'll understand what sacrifice means. I tried to ignore it. I told myself she was simply difficult. Then I got pregnant. The day I found out, Marcus was at work. I sat on the bathroom floor holding the pregnancy test with both hands. I stared at it for almost 10 minutes. Then I started laughing, then crying, then laughing again. When Marcus came home, I stood at the doorway holding the test. He looked at me, looked at the test, then covered his face with both hands. Are you serious? I nodded. He picked me up and spun me around the living room. We laughed until we were both breathless. That night, we talked about names. We talked about cribs. We talked about buying a house. We talked about the kind of parents we wanted to be. And for the first time, I felt completely safe. Then we told his family. The reaction wasn't what I expected. Marcus's father smiled and hugged him. His younger sister cried happily. His brother congratulated us. Evelyn didn't move. She just stared at my stomach. I wasn't even showing yet. Finally, she asked, "Was this planned?" Marcus frowned. "Mom, I'm asking a question," I answered softly. "We're happy." Evelyn smiled. "Of course you are." But there was no happiness in her voice. A few weeks later, she called Marcus privately. I didn't know what they discussed, but after the call, Marcus seemed distant. When I asked him what was wrong, he said, "Nothing." That became his favorite answer. Nothing. Everything was nothing. His mother wasn't angry. Nothing. His family wasn't discussing us. Nothing. He wasn't worried about the pregnancy. Nothing. But something was changing. By my 5th month, Evelyn had become openly hostile. She told Marcus that I was distracting him from work. She told relatives that I had gotten pregnant too quickly. She even suggested that I had planned the pregnancy to secure a place in the Carter family. That accusation hurt more than I admitted. I had never wanted their money. I didn't even know how much money they had until after we were married. I loved Marcus. That was it. But Evelyn didn't believe love was enough. One evening, Marcus came home and told me his mother wanted us to move into the family house after the baby was born. I immediately said no. Not because I hated them, because I knew what living under Evelyn's roof would mean. Marcus hesitated. She says it'll help us financially. We don't need it. I know. Then why are we discussing it? He looked down. Because she's my mother. I took a breath. Marcus, I respect your mother, but this is our marriage. He didn't answer. That silence frightened me. The next few weeks were worse. Evelyn started making decisions about our baby without asking us. She ordered nursery furniture. She bought clothes. She told relatives she was going to choose the baby's name. Then, one afternoon, she called me directly. "I think you need to understand something." "What?" "Marcus is under a lot of pressure." I waited. "He has responsibilities." "I know. Your pregnancy has changed him." I touched my stomach. "Pregnancy changes both parents." She ignored me. "I don't want you making demands on him." "I don't. You need to be careful." Her voice became colder. "Because if Marcus loses his career because of this family situation, I will hold you responsible. I stared at the phone after she hung up. I wanted to tell Marcus, but I was tired. I didn't want another argument, so I kept quiet. That was my mistake, because while I was trying to keep peace, Evelyn was preparing war. At 7 months pregnant, I was invited to dinner at the Carter family home. I almost didn't go, but Marcus insisted. Mom wants to apologize. I looked at him. Did she say that? Yes. I wanted to believe him. I put on a simple blue dress. I rested one hand on my stomach and followed my husband into that house. Everyone was already there. His parents, his siblings, his uncle, 2 family friends. It didn't feel like dinner. It felt like a meeting. We sat down. Food was served. No one ate. Then Evelyn stood. She looked directly at me. Naomi, I think it's time we stop pretending. Marcus's chair moved. Mom, what are you doing? She raised her hand. Sit down. He actually sat. That's when I knew something was wrong. Evelyn walked toward me. You've changed my son. I looked at Marcus. He wouldn't look at me. You've made him distant. She continued. You've made him selfish. My heart started pounding. You've made him choose you over his family. I whispered. I never asked him to choose. Evelyn smiled. That's exactly what you always say. Then she looked at my stomach. And now you're bringing a child into this family. I placed both hands over my belly. Evelyn's voice dropped. That baby is going to ruin this family. The room went silent. I felt my daughter's foot move. I looked at Marcus. He was staring at the table. I waited. 1 second. 2. 3. He said nothing. My eyes filled with tears. Evelyn continued. Marcus needs to understand that he has responsibilities beyond this marriage. I finally spoke. I'm his wife. She looked at me. Exactly. There was something almost cruelly satisfied in her expression. Then she said the words that broke whatever hope I had left. If you stay with Naomi, Marcus, you lose your place in this family. My husband looked up. Evelyn continued. No access to the family business. No financial support. No inheritance. No family properties. She paused. And no relationship with us. I couldn't breathe. They weren't asking me to leave. They were asking my husband to abandon his pregnant wife. Marcus looked around the table. Everyone was silent. Then he looked at me. His eyes were full of conflict. I stood slowly. Marcus, don't answer because you're afraid. His mother immediately interrupted. Sit down. I ignored her. I looked at my husband. If you choose me because you want this marriage. I swallowed. Not because I'm pregnant. Marcus stood. His chair scraped loudly against the floor. He looked at his mother. Then at his father. Then at me. And for one terrifying moment, I thought he was going to choose them. Instead, he whispered, I need time. That sentence destroyed me. I left the house alone. Marcus didn't follow me. I drove home with one hand on the steering wheel and the other protecting my stomach. My daughter moved again. I whispered to her, I'm sorry. I don't know why I apologized. She hadn't done anything. Neither had I. But that night, I made a promise. Whatever happened next, I would protect my child, even if I had to do it alone. Marcus came home after midnight. He stood in the bedroom doorway. I didn't look at him. Naomi. I said nothing. He sat beside me. I'm sorry. For what? For not answering. I finally looked at him. Why didn't you? He looked down. Because I've spent my entire life trying to make my mother proud. I felt tears burning my eyes. And what about me? He had no answer. That was the answer. The next morning, Marcus told me he needed to stay with his parents for a few days. He said he needed space. I watched him pack a suitcase. Before he left, he touched my stomach. Our daughter moved. His eyes filled with tears. I love you, I whispered. Then come back. He didn't answer. The door closed. 3 days became a week. A week became 2. Then I received a letter. It was from Evelyn. She offered me money to leave. A large amount. Enough to rent a house. Enough to raise my baby comfortably for years. But there was one condition. I had to sign an agreement stating that I would never contact Marcus or his family again. I tore the letter in half, then in half again. I cried for hours, not because I wanted their money, because I couldn't believe they were trying to buy my disappearance. My daughter was born 6 weeks later. Her name was Amara. She came into the world screaming. The moment the nurse placed her in my arms, everything else disappeared. Her tiny fingers wrapped around mine. I looked at her face, and I knew I would survive. I called Marcus. He answered. It's a girl. There was silence. Then he whispered, Is she okay? Is she's perfect? I heard him crying. Can I come? I looked at my daughter. Yes. He came to the hospital 2 hours later. He stood beside the bed. He stared at Amara. Then he broke down. He held her for the first time. I should have been here. I didn't answer. He kissed her forehead. I'm sorry. I wanted to forgive him. But forgiveness wasn't the same as trust. And trust had been broken. Marcus went back to his family. But something had changed. He started questioning Evelyn. He discovered she had lied about our finances. She had told him I was trying to control his money. She had told relatives I was refusing to let him see Amara. She had even told people I had threatened to take the baby away. None of it was true. Marcus finally confronted her. And Evelyn gave him an ultimatum again. Choose them or choose us. This time, Marcus didn't hesitate. He chose me. But by then, I had already chosen myself. I told him I wasn't ready to come back. We spent the next year rebuilding trust. Slowly, carefully. He attended every doctor's appointment, every birthday, every sleepless night he was allowed to help with. He apologized without making excuses. And for the first time, he stopped asking his mother for permission to be a husband and father. Evelyn cut him off. She told everyone he had been brainwashed. Then something unexpected happened. Amara grew. And she was brilliant. At 3 years old, she could recognize words. At 4, she was reading simple books. At 5, she became fascinated with numbers. By 6, she was building little machines from toys and broken electronics. I didn't push her. I simply gave her opportunities. One afternoon, she came home from school carrying a small notebook. Mommy, I have an idea. What kind? She opened the notebook. She had drawn a system that could help small businesses track inventory using a simple digital tool. I smiled. You made this? She nodded. It could help people. I kept the notebook. Years passed. Amara grew into a remarkable young black woman. At 14, she created a working prototype. At 16, she won a national technology competition. At 18, she started a company. At 22, that company had become extremely successful. But Amara never forgot where she came from. She remembered the nights when her father wasn't there. She remembered the years when our little apartment was all we had. And she remembered the promise I made when she was born. Protect her. Love her. Teach her that nobody gets to decide her worth. Then, one morning, everything changed. Amara received a phone call. It was from Marcus. His voice sounded different. "Your grandfather is sick." Amara went quiet. Marcus's father had been diagnosed with a serious illness. The family business was struggling. Several properties had major financial problems, and the company Marcus had spent years working for was on the edge of collapse. Then Amara asked the question nobody expected. "How bad is it?" Marcus told her. She was silent. Then she said, "I'll help." I looked at her. "Amara, you don't owe them anything." She shook her head. "I know." "Then why? Then why?" She looked at me. "Because helping someone doesn't mean forgetting what they did." She paused. "It means I get to decide who I become." That was my daughter. The child Evelyn once called a threat. The child they said would ruin the family. The child they wanted gone. Now she was the only person who could save them. Amara flew to meet them. I didn't go. This was her decision. When she walked into the Carter family office, Evelyn barely recognized her. Amara was 24. Confident, elegant, successful. She walked into the room carrying a folder. Evelyn stared. "Who are you?" Amara smiled politely. "I'm Amara." Evelyn's face changed. "No. Yes." The room went silent. Marcus stood in the corner, his eyes filled with tears. Evelyn looked at him. "You brought her here?" Marcus shook his head. "She came because she wanted to." Amara placed the folder on the table. "I've reviewed the company's finances." Evelyn frowned. "You have no right," Amara calmly replied. "I own the investment group that is currently negotiating to purchase the company's debt." Everyone froze. Evelyn stared at her. "You?" Amara nodded. "The same baby you said would destroy this family." No one spoke. Amara opened the folder. "I can save the company." Evelyn looked stunned. "Why?" Amara closed the folder. "Because my mother taught me that your past doesn't have to control your future." Marcus began crying. Amara looked at him. "Dad?" He nodded. "I'm proud of you." She smiled. "I know." Then she turned toward Evelyn. "But there are conditions." Evelyn's face tightened. "What conditions?" "No more manipulation. No controlling people's lives. No using money to force loyalty. And no rewriting history." Evelyn stared at her. Amara continued. "If this company survives, it survives because everyone earns their place." She pushed the papers forward. "Not because they're family." The room went silent. Then Evelyn whispered, "You really became something." Amara smiled. "I became what you said I couldn't." Marcus looked at his daughter. Then at his mother. And for the first time, Evelyn had nothing to say. The company survived. Not because Amara wanted revenge, because she understood something Evelyn never did. Family isn't ownership. Love isn't control. And forgiveness doesn't require you to forget. Years later, Evelyn finally asked to see me. I almost refused, but I agreed. We met at a quiet restaurant. She looked older, smaller. For the first time, she didn't look powerful. She looked tired. "I'm sorry," she said. I waited. I was wrong. I didn't interrupt. I thought protecting my family meant controlling everyone in it. She looked down. "I thought you were taking my son away," I said quietly. "I never took him." She looked up. "He chose to build a life." She nodded. Tears filled her eyes. "And Amara?" I smiled. "She chose to save you." Evelyn began crying. "I don't deserve her." "No," I said. "But she decided what kind of person she wanted to be. That was the difference between us." Evelyn believed people should repay pain with pain. Amara believed she could end the cycle. Years after that dinner where my pregnancy was called a threat, I watched my daughter stand beside her grandfather at a family celebration. She was successful. She was kind. She was confident. And she was loved. Marcus stood beside me. He reached for my hand. "I wish I had protected you sooner." I looked at him. "You can't change the past. I know. But you can honor what you learned from it." He smiled. Our daughter walked toward us. She hugged me first, then her father. For a moment, I remembered the woman I had been all those years ago. 7 months pregnant, terrified, alone at a dinner table full of people who wanted my baby gone. I remembered looking at my stomach and wondering how I would ever protect her. And then I looked at Amara. The answer had been growing inside me the entire time. They thought my unborn baby would ruin their family. They were wrong. She didn't ruin it. She exposed it. She exposed the control. The lies. The manipulation. The difference between family and ownership. And years later, when everything they had built began falling apart, that same little girl became the person who saved them. Not because they deserved it, but because she refused to become cruel just because cruelty had been shown to her. And maybe that's the greatest revenge of all. Not destroying the people who hurt you, becoming someone they can never control. If this story touched your heart, tell me honestly in the comments. If you were Naomi, would you have forgiven Evelyn after everything she did, or would you have walked away forever? And if you were Amara, would you have saved the family that once rejected you? Let me know what you would have done. If you enjoyed this emotional family story, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell. Because sometimes, the person a family rejects becomes the very person they need most. And sometimes, the child they were afraid would destroy everything becomes the reason everything survives.